Welcome to day 4 of the Intelligentsia Cup. This day is a little more technical of a crit here. We have Mundelein. So, start off, take this left-hander. We go into kind of a right-hander into a roundabout, and then a right-hander out of that roundabout, and then a double left-hand turn into the finish. So, kind of a U-turn into the finish, but nice, fast, and sweeping. So, the race usually ends up just being kind of a messy bunch sprint, but it's a pretty hard technical course where you don't really save much energy being at the back, and the swarm isn't quite as significant. Entering the last few turns here, you can see on the right, it's kind of some bumpy pavement. You can move up, and there's kind of a shoulder of grass that you can move up on, but getting pushed into there is still kind of a loss. Entering the roundabout, you can cut real far inside, so there's a lot of opportunities to chop corners and move ahead because there's almost always space. This first turn, a little less so, just because the outside empties into a gravel shoulder, but there's plenty of opportunity to move up in this race, but you're gonna spend some energy doing it almost every time. So the trains were here. Legion had a full squad. Miami Blazers has a pretty full squad, and MitoQ all have a lot of guys. We've just got 4 dudes, and with 18 laps to go, Legion pretty much just started their full lead out. So they're stringing it out, and it was really hard. We were trying to stick together as a team. You can see here, I kind of get separated from Ethan's wheel there, so I have to burn a little match to get up past Iman and one of the MitoQ guys there. But there's plenty of room on the inside of this corner most of the time, and there's plenty of room on the outside. This roundabout is kind of tricky. If you pedal too deep into it with too much speed, you can lose traction or just clip a pedal. And one of the Miami Blazers guys actually did that right next to me. He wasn't able to get it on video just because it was his head hit my pedal, or hit my foot when he went on the way down. Here you can see I'm letting Sam through, and then this MitoQ guy wants to get up to his guys, so I'm gonna let him through too. We don't need to fight for that wheel because we don't have the same objective. I'm just kind of defaulting to the sweeping position. We're pretty far out at this point. I'd say there's probably like 10 laps to go, but it is starting to get pretty hectic jockeying for position. MitoQ's got their train, Blazers has their train lined up, and so do Legion. Legion's got the front. Blazers did at one point get over the front of Legion, but I think it was a little too costly for them in the end, where they only had like Tanner Ward left, who was still not gassed, or hadn't been caught behind a crash. Here you can see we're sticking together pretty well, just kind of occupying as much space as we can. Side by side does help there, just kind of stop swarming from happening so that nobody's jumping in front of you, especially if there's extra room like this. You can see that first internet bank guy chop the inside. I tried to take him pretty far inside the corner, but he still was able to commit to it. So now my job is going to be to get him back out of our train. And I'm going to have to go on the inside here and try and get my bars in front of him. But he was just kind of able to maintain position. So now I've got to burn a match, and then really push him out of the train here so that we're staying together. Yeah, really just staying together is pretty key, so that nobody's kind of pushing you around, although sometimes stuff like this happens where Disruptors was like really trying to push into our train, and we're successfully doing it with Riley and Yancey Van Rensburg. They had 2 guys here that are pretty strong, and can sprint pretty well. But yeah, Riley was sending some corners pretty hard, especially this last corner here, which you can see me doing and kind of getting in front of Van Rensburg, kind of pushing him back out of our train, trying to keep the boys together as much as we can. This is one of the corners where we don't really have a lot of space, and Riley there is going to move on the inside. Sean Christian would fight for his wheel there, and we'll go back into that in a slow-mo. So you can see here on the left hand, chopping inside of the corner, Riley's going to move up really fast. And this is fine. I had done it a few times during the race. Yeah, he's moving up real fast in there. And then Sean is also going to chop a little, but he sees Riley do it, and now they're just neck and neck. I think eventually what happens is either they clip bars and Sean just gets pushed to the outside, um, or Sean just might have been, yeah, just pushed out some other way. And then you would see it would collect Iman Lucas and the Mike Spikes guys, one of the Rule 28 guys, um, over there to the right. And then our sprinter, one of our sprinters, Ethan, was actually held up behind that crash. Here coming into the last lap, Riley was sending it pretty hard still. Just kind of needling in between us, and at the end of this race I kind of lost a little bit of kick, so I'm just trying to anticipate accelerations here. Here you can see 1 lap to go, so I'm pretty much just trying to wind it up before corners. See here, I just can't hold that wheel with that kick, so I'm gonna have to send it into the corner a little faster, and hope I can carry speed through this roundabout. And I was able to get back on the guys just a little bit, but yeah, I just don't have the kick to stay up with them at this point in the season. Later in, my GoPro does die, so we're gonna switch on the bottom left to Ethan, my teammate up there in the train. This is his GoPro video. They're almost full sprinting now into the final corners. I think Robin Carpenter and Ty Magner were up front, with maybe Boardman was still up there, really winding it up, and I just can't follow that acceleration. Fergus Arthur there was able to get by me into the last corner, and then you can see Sam and Ethan here are jockeying for like 10th, say maybe 5th wheel, and then they come out, there's a wide exit, and they're fully sprinting. So once they get through the finish line, I think Hugo actually got 3rd, and then Sam sitting there in 7th place at the end for the sprint. And Ethan would get 8th place. But good results for the guys. We're doing a little bit better at holding position up in that sprint. I think it was easier without the swarm today, just like making it a little harder course, and making it a little easier for us to jockey just with our strengths. Going on to the next day, I think it's a little less technical crit again, a little faster again, so should be yet more exciting and sketchy bumping videos to come. Thanks. See ya.